Hello boys, Mordarim here. Today with another last Epoch build, probably the last one until the next patch. I'm currently not really feeling leveling another character in this game. I have seen the content for now probably 200 hours and I came up with enough concepts for this game to thrive with new builds and new build possibilities. So I'm very much looking forward to see what the game is providing us with the next patch. But for this patch, I'll take a short break. Doesn't mean I will never come back to Last Epoch. So just so you know, I will come back because this game is absolutely amazing. The current Power Vexor leak showed me once again there's just so much quality of life missing in this game provides this. From visual clarity to slower gameplay to knowing what is going on to just having impactful normal gameplay without just zooming, and once you stand still you explode. So very much loving this game and I hope it will thrive. So, what do I have for you? A Cold Aura Ice Barrage build. I wanted to build something that's very easy on the wrists, very easy on the fingers, very easy on the inputs per minute. So this build probably only needs like one input per 5 seconds. It's very easy to play and it's also quite tanky and also quite fast in clearing and efficient in clearing. So a little bit of gameplay here. Okay, so that's the gameplay. Now the skills, I am going with Ice Barrage here. So I picked up Biting Cold, I picked up Nailed Shot because I need 100% pure chance on this skill, and Hypothermia. So a 200% chance of Frostbite with that incredible fire rate. You stack up Frostbite so fast, it's effectively a 10 to 15k dot on every enemy, so very strong. We also increased the duration of our spell, got the increased fire rate against rare enemies and bosses. We got 1 stack in Looming Frost. You can probably put 2 more points into this one and take out 10% fire rate in this one, or just get 5% fire rate. It's exchangeable and very much to preference if you want the additional fire rate or the damage per shot. And I also got Intensifying Cold because, well, that's 100% freeze rate per point, so very strong. So our setup for Flame Ward, we pick up Dilation, we pick up Energize, we pick up Prismatic Buffer and Barrier. We go into this side and get Fire Aura converted to Frost with Frost Ward. We get Eye of the Flame because of the 15% multiplier on our Flame Aura and get 5 points into Infusion. You could just take out 1 point out of this one and put it into Prismatic Buffer to make you tankier, so that's just preference. Our teleport skill is for movement. We pick up those to help with clear. We get the resistances. We get the resistances here and the armor. We get the stat buff duration and the damage here. For our black hole, this spell is quite awesome. It's dealing a lot more damage than it's currently in the DPS per second. It's probably around 50 to 100k DPS if the target is in the middle. We picked up the damage here, we picked up the event horizon here to increase the damage even further because the cast speed is not affecting us even a little bit. So Pulsar, this one is incredible. It deals so much additional damage. I cannot display it right now, but it's there. You pick up the duration, you pick up 1 duration with Endless Maw. I know the cooldown recovery speed is quite huge, but that's no problem for us. The cold damage here is absolutely amazing. It's so strong. I would 100% recommend this one, so take this one. And the singularity, we only use one black hole anyway. We have such a high cooldown on this one, so we only cast one each time. So 50% there. And we also picked up 30% chance to create another black hole when our first one just buffs and creates another one. So very nice. And focus is for mana regeneration. I don't really need it. I rarely just stand still and use this one, maybe for the haste buff, maybe for just intense phases where I really need that mana, but otherwise no need to use this one. So you can change this one to... Okay, so you can also pick Ascendance instead of Focus. You pick up Power Sprint, you pick up Rebuff for 300 additional watt per start. You pick up, where is it? Here, Accuracy. This one no longer drains mana, it's just affecting us with a 2-second cooldown, and you press it just one time and another time, and you are rooted into place for one single small bit, but you deroot yourself right away and you get 300 additional watt. So you can stack up your watt with this one. Very strong for this build. You can also fire one Ice Barrage to buff your damage and start running again. So it's like a stop, but I didn't like it because of the break in fluidity of the build. So I opted out of it. Okay, so our passive points right here. So I picked up Preparation with 5 points here. You can go with 10 points here, since we are only casting our Ice Barrage every 4 to 6 seconds, depending on how many points you got into duration. We always get this one. So 200% increased damage. We get also a slow on this one. Same applies for the Black Hole. We picked up Elementalist for the increased damage. We picked up Scholar for health and mana. Then we went into the Sorcerer tree and into the Spellbird tree. First, into the Spellbird tree, we picked up 5 points in Elemental Affinity, 8 points in Flamewalker, and Incinerating Aura got 8 points. So this one lets us cast Cold Aura like this, right? So we move all the time, and when we cast Ice Barrage and move, we just 100% have effectiveness on this one. We'll only stop one time for this really nice spell, and we can create quite a lot of damage over time, cold damage over time with this one. So next up, we picked up the Sorcerer tree. We picked up Brainstorm for the spell damage. We picked up 2 points into Wisdom to get that mana for this Archmage trait, because we need 200 mana to get 10 additional adaptive spell damage. That's very, very strong. We picked up the cold damage in Cryomancer and the cold penetration here. We picked up Afterglow because our Ice Barrage, right there, costs 70 mana and our Black Hole costs 49. Well, I know that's a lot of mana, but it triggers Afterglow, so that's additional 25% increased spell damage. So, right, additionally, so it's 50% because we are casting a spell that's costing 40 mana or more, so it's a 50% spell damage buff for 5 points. We picked up 1 point into Whirling Snow for the chill chance. We are hitting so incredibly fast with our Ice Barrage that, well, we always chill at 3 stacks. We picked up Inferno for the damage over time. We picked up 1 point in Arcane Insight because 5% hit chance is quite low, but it's 20% increased elemental damage and 20% water retention. We are hitting so incredibly fast with our Ice Barrage that we always have this buff up at all times, so we only need 1 point into this. We picked up 7 points into Elemental Ascendance for that elemental resistances, for that increased elemental damage, and for that stun chance with spells, because, well, like I said, our Ice Barrage has a stun chance, right? And it's stunning quite a lot. So we got 5 points into Archmage because this one is scaling our damage quite amazingly. And Recollection is the one I'm picking up right now. We are at level 80. With the next points, I wanted to pick up stuff like Archmage preparation spells, so 5 points into this, finish up the Elemental Affinity, finish up the Elemental Ascendance, and the other points are going into something I am not sure yet. There is not much else on the tree that's really good. Maybe the Spellslinger one, it's 5 adaptive damage, so quite strong, but depends. You also have Ice and Fire here. You can pick up this one for the increased cold damage, but we have already enough, so possibly not. You can also go with Arcanist to get additional arcane additional fire resistance and lightning resistance, but that's completely preference. So that's the spells and passives. Okay, so last but not least, our idols. I am taking the apply frostbite with cold skills chance 2 times. The spell cold damage is also helping quite a lot. Flame aura damage on our idols. We can go with a substat, increased cold damage with maxed mana. It's doubled, but we don't have this much mana, so we only get the 20%, but it's still extremely strong. And this one is just to finish off our resistances and get a little bit of life leech on hit, because that's quite a lot of damage DPS just from the Ice Barrage. For our staff, we want something like this: increased elemental damage over time and increased cold damage. We want the highest adaptive damage possible. On this staff, we can get up to 120 for increased mana cost. We don't really spam anything. We don't really care about mana cost on our spells. We even want mana cost on our spells to buff our damage. So this staff is absolutely perfect for this build. I also picked up Isadora's Grave Chill for the 20 spell cold damage on gloves. We don't really need crit, we don't really need spell casting, we don't really need the resistances or health right now on our gloves, so this one is absolutely perfect. For our boots, went with generic boots. The fire resistance here is extremely nice. For our mage relic, there are different approaches. I picked this one for the additional intelligence to get that damage, because it's 48% more damage or increased damage. Get elemental damage over time, we get cold damage, chill chance, freeze multiplier, and get resistances, so this relic is really good. For our belt, you can go with any belt that you really have lying around. You want spell slots, no, potion slots on this one. Increased elemental damage over time is nice to have. You can go with cold damage over time, but I opted for the dodge rating because dodge rating is quite nice. That's let me show you. Right, when I press this one, I get 8% dodge chance, so this one helps with defenses because we are pressing our potion button quite often. So resistances on our belt. Here nothing special, just elemental damage over time, cold damage. You can go with intelligence, whatever. Our chest is very thick. That's like 400 health, right? It's 400 health just from this chest. I opted for cold damage over time, but I can also go with fire aura damage or ice barrage levels. Ice barrage levels are also very, very strong on this build. Same applies for the helmet. I have cold damage over time and frostbite on hit with skills, so all of those are amazing for our build. I also opted for cold penetration on amulet and elemental damage over time, but you can also go with cold damage, doesn't matter really. You just scale damage with this one. So substats, frailty on hit is very strong, decreases the damage of the enemy. Chill chance is also strong. Freeze rate multiplier also very strong. Ignite is strong. Ignite is very strong since we are scaling so much so much elemental damage over time and damage over time. We are also scaling our ignite. So ignite is also an option to scale the damage even further. Okay, so that's all there is to say for this build. I really hope you liked it. You can leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Also, a lot of the updates coming up on Twitter. Weekly stream schedule, weekly updates for what is planned currently in my real life, like hiking trips and so on and so forth. I will also do a weekly update after next week. So hopefully we can get this one sorted out. So see you next time when I play the next game. I'm really enjoying Mistover right now. So I upload a possible, or I'm right now uploading a possible playthrough of this one. I voice acted a lot of the stuff and I find the game's art style incredibly awesome. Control is also very, very much in my alley, so that's that. So see you next time and bye.